Good evening and welcome to this week's Gamestyle Live. Not been much happening this week. We all look a bit tired and
Fucking...
the weight of the world has caught up with us. And Star Wars has happened this week, so we're talking Star Wars.
Lots of Star Wars. In fact, the most exciting thing wasn't the Star Wars Battlefront trailer, it was the actual Star Wars trailer. Was all
This is where I leave the room now and let you two gents
God,
go
you know,
for it.
people like you is why we can't have nice things. No, you've never seen such an outpouring of, like, a universal outpouring of, oh my god, that was fucking amazing from absolutely everybody about the Star Wars Episode 7 trailer. Because it was fantastic. I mean, I'm not the biggest Star Wars fanboy, but it was brilliant. It's even if the film's shit, it's like Mad Max. Mad Max is coming out in like 20 days or something. Even if Mad Max Road Fury or Fury Road, whichever one it's called, is shit, you could just sit and watch all the trailers back to back for an hour and a half, and it'll be fucking brilliant.
Yes.
So I'm thankful for that.
To be fair, even I sat there, and when the trailer came with it, I'm guessing it was a surprise near the end. It was meant to be,
Yeah.
Even I marked out like a bitch.
Yeah.
That was just like, oh my god!
The thing is, it's at some point they were going to put some kind of money shot, inverted commas, in for all the nerds, which we all are, apart from you because you're fucking wrong.
I've watched them all. Give me credit, I have watched them all.
Did you watch all the proper ones, or did you watch the bastardizations that George Lucas put out?
No, I've watched the proper ones. My uncle was a big Star Wars fan. He's a big Star Wars fan. He's not dead. That's just made him
It was. He's under the patio.
Yeah, so I've watched all the proper ones. And
So,
I went to the cinema to watch the others.
yeah, I mean, I watched the. I haven't bought the Blu-ray though because fuck George Lucas. But what? What? Sorry, you're not going to defend him, are you, Andrew? Are you?
No. I don't know. I do think it's a little bit harsh. He made some awful films, but he also made the good ones as well.
There is
Howard the Duck?
no
That's brilliant.
coincidence. There is no coincidence that the best Star Wars film is the one that George Lucas had the fucking least to do with. It's no coincidence at all.
Probably not. I don't know. I still think the first. I still think the first one is actually the best one.
Wait,
Anyway,
the first one or the fourth one?
The fourth one.
The fourth one's the
Although-
first.
So episode 1. You
Yeah.
think episode
No.
1's the best one, Andrew?
No, episode
I
chronologically.
could actually defend episode 1. I have been known to defend episode 1 as a good film. I think
can't-
that's pretty good.
You can't.
Episode 2 and 3, I can't watch those at all.
Episode 3 is better
Episode
than
1 is
episode
quite
4
light.
because they completely disregarded the midi-chlorians. It's like, like I said, I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan, but holy shit, trying to explain the fucking Force by putting some fucking nano robots or whatever the fuck it is in the blood and saying, oh, he's got a very high nano count. Holy shit, he's strong in the... No, well done.
To go even nerdier on the midichlorians, the expanded universe explanation of how Anakin came to be was that
Immaculate Conception.
Darth Sidious's boss,
His
Darth
boss.
Plagueis, was messing around with trying to create the perfect biological weapon, and the midichlorians noticed that and created Anakin.
As an antithesis to this ultimate biological weapon.
I think that was the midichlorians.
So these you see, the midichlorians are such bullshit that they tried to create an antithesis to the ultimate biological weapon, which in turn became the greatest Sith that's ever been.
It's Although
Bullshit explanations.
Whilst we're doing this, let's just do this for 3 more minutes. When that stupid prophecy that they had, that it will bring balance to the Force, couldn't they have done a basic count for how many Jedi there were? We've got this room full of council, and we've got those little young ones, and they're all really... Yeah, and just check them off, like they're getting onto a coach on a school trip. And then count how many Sith they knew about. Always 2 there are. 1, 2. And then if the number of Jedi is greater than the number of Sith,
Yeah.
then perhaps bringing balance to the Force isn't a great thing.
So there's only 2 Jedi to 2 Sith.
Yeah, and that's how it ended up,
But
basically.
isn't the dark side of the Force more expensive, more powerful than the light? So there needs to be more light side of the Force than dark.
It depends how you run it, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Shut up, Brad. Shut up, Brad.
I know Brad's
Shut
not
up, Brad.
saying anything, and so the people, like the
I'm
majority
still-
of people can't see this. Brad's holding up what the fuck to the camera.
I'm lost. I'm genuinely lost.
Anyway,
this is worse than my
episode
understanding of pop music and modern TV.
Episode 7's going to do away with all the shit that was 1, 2, and 3. What I think is going to happen is Episode 7 is going to be the fanboy wank fantasy that everybody wants it to be. And so you'll get, Carrie Fisher shambling about in a cocaine-fueled fucking daze. And you'll get Mark Hamill looking portly and sounding like the Joker. And then you get, Harrison Ford being the only one that was, clever enough to crash his plane into a golf course so he didn't have to turn up to the fucking fan convention that's just been on this weekend. And looking old and shambling. And then episodes 8 and 9 will be, it'll have all the good stuff, but we won't have to put up with, like I say, Carrie Fisher doddering around with no septum.
Which one was essentially a courtroom drama?
The second one.
Was it? Yeah, as long as it isn't
Yeah,
that. As long as it goes
second
back to the shooting and the flying thing.
Well, this is the other thing. They tried to make a children's film about politics, and it's like, kids are well into that shit. So yeah. Anyway, so seven's going to be great. 8 and 9.
Episode 1 is quite good.
No,
it's got a set piece,
no.
and it's got the best lightsaber fight.
It has. Now that I will concede, it has got the best lightsaber fight. Aside from that, it's fucking bollocks. It's rubbish.
The pod racing bit's quite fun, and it led to a very obvious video game.
Woo! Relevant!
And the rest of it was alright, and Darth Maul is a genuinely good bad guy.
Yeah, Darth Maul
compared to
is such a
the
good bad guy that they fucking killed at the end of the first film.
And he was like,
That's
only in it for
okay.
like 30 seconds.
It's okay, don't worry, he's not actually dead. He gains spider legs.
Yep, he gains mechanical legs. He was cut in half, and he fell down a big fucking power shaft or whatever it was, and then they gave him new legs and sent him back out into the world.
Who's in the Darth Vader bits this time? Because I've seen...
Darth Vader's dead.
I saw bits of it. I thought maybe there might be like
No,
flashbacky
he's
things.
dead.
And the guy, okay.
Hopefully it'll be David Prowse if he's not too bitter about not getting his royalties from Empire Strikes Back.
I'm assuming Darth Vader's dead doesn't count as a spoiler, seeing as the film is about 80 years old now.
Only as much as fucking he's Luke Skywalker's father and Snape kills Dumbledore and fucking, verbal Kint is Kaiser Soze. It's no different to that, so whatever.
Fair enough.
So, if you're watching this and you've not seen any of those films, please enjoy them from now on.
To be fair, if you're watching this and
Bruce
not seen any of them
Willis-
films,
Bruce
what are you
Willis
doing with your
always
fucking
dead.
life? Seriously, you should have watched
Bruce-
this shit.
I like that
Bruce
there are
Willis has
people that are
always
watching
been dead,
us.
guys. Sorry
What?
to break it to you.
Huh?
I like
yeah.
that there are people that are watching us in preference to Star Wars and Harry
Star Wars
Potter
and the usual suspects, and so
credit.
So in an amazingly well timed bit, which was all marketed and shit, EA and DICE showed their brand new Star Wars Battlefront game with in-engine footage, which means the square root of fuck all. It means nothing. It is just glorified bullshot rubbish that they're going, this is all running in the engine that we've created, the engine we've been running all our games on for the last 2 years, and it winds me up. It winds me up to my chronic.
The thing is, it may well be at that point in engine, but once they've obviously expanded the world, the maps, and had God knows how many people in it, it's not going to look anything like that.
The thing is, it's in engine. It's very specifically worded to be in engine. It doesn't say gameplay footage.
No, it's clearly not gameplay footage because they're at all weird angles and stuff like that.
Obviously, but it's like, it's just fucking. And like, I was having a conversation on Twitter with somebody. And it's like, they're like, nobody will believe that that's what it's going to look like at the end. And I fucking pasted, literally about 10 minutes after he said that, I pasted a post on Facebook. Somebody going, I see new Battlefront, I can't wait to get my PS4. I'm like, you are fucking kidding me. You couldn't make this shit up. It's like fucking smoke and mirrors, and oh god, I don't know.
See, I don't mind smoke and mirrors to a degree, but be honest about it.
Then it's not smoke and mirrors, is it? It's them outright lying, but telling you they're lying. It's just,
I'd love to see that.
The fact is, it's like, oh yeah, it's going to be online only, and it's going to have single player missions. How did they word it? Like tailored single player missions in the online world. I'm like, no. Oh, I want to. And there's no space battles. There's no fucking. We've got this space. We've got a fucking franchise that is vehicular and on infantry. There's armor and there's infantry, and we're not going to get any fucking armor. It's like, why? Because we're going to pay it as a fucking DLC for season pass 6 months down the line. God damn it! And this will be broken. It won't fucking work. It won't. It's fucking DICE and their network infrastructure bullshit fucking arg. It couldn't be in any worse hands unless it went to fucking Ubisoft.
I think it looks quite good.
Twat.
I'll tell you what I am genuinely impressed by. Split screen mode. Split screen? Alright, how exciting is that? That's a next generation feature if ever I've seen one.
60 frames down to 30 frames, amazing.
To be fair, Call of Duty have been doing split screen since the beginning.
And Borderlands.
This is true.
And Borderlands.
Yep. And Left 4 Dead.
Yeah. So the only one it's actually big for is DICE.
There's not a lot of games in general that have got any split screen modes now.
No, there isn't much couch co-op, as they call it these days.
Forza's still couch co-op.
What is?
Forza, I don't know if Forza Horizon is, but Forza 5 and that is.
And?
That's still split screen.
And the rest, come on.
The Activision shooters.
What, all of them?
Sorry?
All of them?
Well, they only do Call of Duty.
Oh, yeah, that other Activision shooting, that Destiny, that's split screen, isn't it?
Is it? No,
it's not. Oh god, Jesus fucking shooting.
No, I haven't played it enough.
You've played it though. No idea.
Yeah, but on my own. I don't have friends.
But I don't know. Split screen Star Wars. It sounds like a good start, and I'm not massively hopeful it's going to be the best game ever. But I've been going through a list of every single Star Wars game. And I've realised that basically this is me giving things a review as if Brad was reviewing it and it was on the Vita. Star Wars The Force Unleashed, that weren't bad actually.
It was awful. It was terrible.
No, that was god awful. I played that one.
Hey? I'm going to say I played The Force Unleashed. When it came on Steam and it was on sale. Because it was one of those games I liked the look of, and I thought, oh, it looks really wicked and shit. And I never got around to buying it on Xbox 360, and then it disappeared off face of Earth, and then they brought out that Ultimate Edition, which went out, then whatever. But no, I felt it was really woolly, and it was just a bit crap. You felt it should have been much better than it actually was. It's a bit sad.
It was one of those games where it wouldn't have taken that much more work to make it really, really, really good. But it had moments of still being quite good.
Yeah, it had flashes of... I mean, I was a bit disappointed that even though you could throw... This was actually from the demo. You could throw stormtroopers about and stuff like that with the Force, but you couldn't actually pick up the TIE fighters and throw them at people. I was a bit disappointed in that.
It was all a little bit... I quite enjoyed it, though.
Well, that's fine. If you enjoyed it, that's great. But the thing is with things like that is it suffers a bit from Superman syndrome. Is that if you make a game about somebody who's powerful in the Force, then you're basically giving them these superpowers where they can do anything, and so making it an incremental great upgrade system just seems a bit pointless.
Do you know what would have been great? Yeah. Putting that character at the start in like a world like Saints Row 4 and just going, fuck it. Off you go. Well,
yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that they needed a structure more than Saints Row 4. I mean, when did Force Unleashed come out?
2008.
So it's quite old, yeah. But no, I mean, I say it's god awful. It wasn't that bad. It was fine. It's another one of them examples of a game that's a bit more disappointing when you expected it to be something else. That's all.
Yeah. My favourite Star Wars announcement still has to be Connect Star Wars, because that was fucking hilarious. That almost single-handedly destroyed the franchise.
What, the Star Wars franchise?
Yeah, it was that bad.
And episodes 1, 2, and 3. It's like when people say, "Oh, Disney are going to ruin it." Nah, Star Wars was ruined years ago. It's fine.
Yeah. But I remember that both. I think that both done damage to both Star Wars and Connect at the same time. It was that bad. Everything was out of sync with what he was actually doing, because it was all acted and all that as well. I just remember loving watching that.
Oh, the announcement!
Has anyone actually played the game?
What, Star Wars Connect?
Yeah.
No. I could never get the Connect to work in my house.
Is that the same as the dancing one? Wasn't there a Star Wars dancing game?
No, the dancing one's part of the Star Wars Connect. Have you played it, Andrew?
No, I've never had a Connect.
Lucky you. No, I could never get the Connect to work in my house. So, because Microsoft don't realise that people in Europe don't live in IKEA.
Yeah.
It's
fucking. That's that.
Just quite good.
Thing is, I'm looking through, and I've actually played more Star Wars games than I.
Well, let's let Andrew's actually done research. Andrew's actually, and he also played 90% of the games on that fucking list. So,
I'm doing my research right now.
Yes, professional. Right, so Andrew, you were going somewhere with this.
I was vaguely, yeah. It's really the peak of Star Wars games was just in that build-up when the special editions are about to come out, and everyone was really excited. And the novels had just come out, and we were about to go and see Star Wars at the cinema for the first time since, the first time.
Yeah.
There was some really good stuff that came out then. There were genuinely good games, like 1994-ish through to 1997-ish.
Yeah.
The games that came out then. As I warned people on the Facebook, I am now going to talk for about 15 minutes about realigning shields on X-Wing. X-Wing was the best game ever.
X-Wing made my ears bleed. It was fantastic.
It was just as good as games can be, frankly. It's not aged brilliantly. There is quite a lot of flying to untextured boxes and taking their number plates, and then flying to another untextured box and taking its number plate. But we'll pretend to ignore that for now, because when it was really good, and those bits were crap at the time, let alone now, when it was good, it was just amazing. Just, oh my god, I've got to get to the other end of this gigantic space area as quickly as possible. I've got to turn off all my shields and all my weapons and fly at full kit, and then get there and, oh my god, I've got no shields and no weapons, and there's a Star Destroyer, and I've got to take it down. And it was just one of those games that you could just play forever and ever and ever.
I didn't play it a vast amount, but it was. You can tell it's something special. Like I said, it's surprised that one, there's not been a HD remake of it. I'm very surprised that nobody's actually took it. And saying that, I think LucasArts for a long time were adverse to revisiting old things, and they kept trying to push the brand forwards and other such wanky terms. And so they kind of lost sight of what made games great when they weren't trying to follow canon to the letter or trying to come up with some way to make you feel like an all-powerful Jedi and all that shit. So, yeah, no, I mean, I never played TIE Fighter, and I don't know how that differed from X-Wing.
It was a better game, basically. It had got more pointing and clicking and story, and you felt more consequential, and you got, it felt more, it was just a better video game, really.
Right, okay.
But I never enjoyed it as much because I fucking love an A-Wing.
You massive nerd. Nobody likes the A-Wing.
You give me an A-Wing, I'm happy. I mean, B-Wings are cool because of the number of weapons they've got available. And was it 12 proton torpedoes they could carry? I think it was. But just going at speed 180 in an A-Wing, that was damn good. It's pretty much my favourite thing in any video game ever, is the whole dropping the shields and then hurtling around and then panicking and putting them back on and only having enough shield to put that on the front and then constantly trying to point yourself at a Star Destroyer. And you basically had to use about 19 hands at once. Because you had the joystick. If you were a normal human that had one of those joysticks that relied on suckers to hold it to the rather than having a big flight control thing. So you had to basically hold it down and dodge around. But as soon as you needed to hold it down because you were doing tight maneuvers, you also needed to panic about your shields, and you needed to find a different target. I'm pretty sure it used every single key on the keyboard. This was not a simple game at all. This was R was the nearest target, T was the next target, Y was the previous target.
Why would that? How does that even?
F10, F11, F12 were shields and lasers and power, I think.
Fucking hell.
And you got, I think X opened and closed the S foils on the X-Wing, and you got changing weapons between ion cannons if you're in a Y-Wing or a B-Wing.
You do realise that no normal person should be able to remember this shit. You do. Because
I haven't played it for years either.
I've just looked in my good old games account, and I had vague recollection of buying X-Wing when it was like £2.39 or something, and I have actually got it. So I'm gonna have to give that a go tomorrow now.
I'm not around to buying it yet, because it's one of those games that I kind of think I'm not going to possibly enjoy it as much as I actually enjoy the memories of it in my mind. I'm always quite careful with memories. They're important.
Fucking rose-tinted glasses, man, it's terrible. In gaming, especially.
And even at the time, there were bits of those games where I was like, this is shit. And considering this would definitely get into my top 10 all-time games, this is,
yeah, you gotta be careful.
Then N64 coming out, you get the whole new Star Wars chapter with Shadows of the Empire. That's quite good. That's another game that's with his Outrider.
See,
that's
what
probably my favourite Star Wars ship.
Look, it's the Millennium Falcon with bits cut off. It's what?
No, but it's got a pivoting turbo laser.
Oh, right, as you do. See, Brad, this is what you're missing out of. When you were losing your virginity and whatever, me and Andrew were playing.
No, it's all gone past, and I was in my 20s by then. Sad
turbo laser.
And then in Rogue Squadron as well. That was on the N64, wasn't it?
Which was always a little bit disappointing because it wasn't as good as X-Wing. It always felt a bit limited compared to X-Wing.
It was consolified, wasn't it? It was basically them doing fucking spaceship fighting on a console where you've only got 4, 6, 8, 11 buttons or whatever.
It does make me. The GameCube one makes me want to back up my original copy of Rogue Squadron 2, yes, and play it on Dolphin on my PC. That's very tempting to do.
Somebody's bound to have done it and put it on YouTube. Just watch that.
Yeah, that's
I remember that being announced, and there was the little preview bit of showing the fighters flying towards Death Star, and as far as my memory goes, that pretty much looked as good as the special editions looked. Which was quite impressive.
Well, that's one thing I didn't understand about the special editions is they completely redid all the ships in CG, and it didn't look any different. It just baffled me. But yeah, no, I mean, for the time, I think if you look back on it now, you'd probably go, no. But No, I remember at the time.
I think you'd probably do the same with the special editions as well, to be honest.
Still haven't watched.
Which I've not watched in ages.
No, neither have I. I've got a DVD copy of the theatricals, and I'd rather watch those because not because they're any purists. It's just because the bit with fucking Jabba in the hangar and he walks over his tail. It's bullshit. It's rubbish.
That is terrible. There's some bits in it. The bits that you don't really notice are new are really nice. Like putting windows into Bespin. That's really nice. I like the windows. It's good window action.
Oh yeah, they show you the background, the Cloud City in that, don't they? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, that's nice. It's very northern. Very northern thing. That's nice. I like that. It was grand.
But yeah, the rest of it is a bit disappointing. But
right, for the explanation of everybody and Brad, apparently, George Lucas decided to go back to the original Star Wars trilogy and just add a load of CG for no reason whatsoever. Some of it was shit, like Jabba in Episode 4, and some of it was great, like Bespin in Episode 5. So, yeah, it's basically it was just remakes, HD makes, whatever, for the sake of doing it.
Confused that Andrew just picked up on the best bit about the remake was a window.
No, you fucking.
It was.
What it means is the best bit was it expanded the set basically because they walked down a corridor and it was just a wall, and in the remake, in the HD thingy fucking remaster, they put windows in so you could see beyond the city into the sky and stuff like that.
Background stuff, right?
Yes,
okay. That makes more sense rather than they put in a window.
Oh,
they literally did put in a window.
To be fair, he's right. They did literally just put a load of windows in. That's it.
Could have explained it a bit better.
Anyway,
games which no one else played except me. If anyone here has played it, I'll be quite impressed. Star Wars Supremacy, the real-time strategy, turn-based, galaxy-conquering.
Isn't that Empire at War, or is that a completely different game?
No, Empire at War is basically
Command and
Conquer Age of Empires reskinned.
Right. Yeah.
But,
Supremacy. I think I've seen Supremacy in my ye olde working days, but
Supremacy is sort of a cross between Civilization and Homeworld, basically, in that you've got a galaxy map where you fly around and you've got armies that you build, and then when you get to things, it's kind of medieval Total War, really, but with Star Wars. And it was really, really, really good until you got to the end, and then you got massively overpowered because they panicked that the rebels didn't have any good ships once you got beyond a Mon Calamari cruiser. So they made up the Bulwark battle cruiser, and then that just blew everything up.
You see, what I want you to do is, because you can buy that on Good Old Games as well, I want you to buy all these games and play them and see how they hold up. If only to watch you crumble into dust and tears at how all your childhood memories are basically nothing.
I think that would be quite good still.
Right.
Basic, but
it looks pretty basic, to be fair.
Yeah, it's a very, but it was at the time as well. The strategy of moving around the maps and stuff wasn't that impressive, and the real-time battles weren't that important in the game either. It was one of those, you've either got enough people to win or you haven't.
That's pretty binary.
There wasn't a great deal that you could do to actually turn a battle if you were massively outnumbered. So I don't think it's going to have aged that badly. I suspect that will have aged better than X-Wing.
Wow. Do you want to play any of the Star Wars games that came out on the PC? Because they're all on Good Old Games, Jesus.
Yeah, they all came out about 2 or 3 months ago.
I thought it was just X-Wing and TIE Fighter. I didn't realise it was like all of them.
No, it was all of them.
Cool.
It's good stuff.
I can't wait till you get to the really, really, really bad Star Wars games. I want to talk about the bad Star Wars games. Because there's lots of them.
I can give you a brief blip of badness if you want.
Brief
Star
blip.
Wars. We're still in 1997. Star Wars Masters of Teräs Käsi.
It's fucking awful. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Is
that the fighting one?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
it
the
is.
one.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
played that when I was working in a cinema. It was awful. Not a cinema, video shop.
It was brilliant. Cinema. Is that what you keep telling people, Brad? Is that
No.
what you keep telling me? It's like, where do you work, Brad? I work in a cinema. It's a small cinema. There's quite a few films on at minute, though.
Yeah, it's like when I tell people the size of my knob, I just exaggerate it a bit.
Always comes back to knob gags. Doesn't it? Oh, God.
I thought I'd speak up and remind people that I'm still here.
Did you?
Don't worry, the knob is still here.
I was sure.
Yeah,
You see,
that was.
if you had a
very
proper
cool
childhood
game.
like everybody else, then you'd get on with, you'd be like knowledgeable on Star Wars instead of hockey or something ridiculous and an American like that.
Well, if we're about mid to late 90s, I do have a bit of breaking news.
Break what, from the 90s? It's a bit late for that.
Britney Spears has done well.
No, Mitch Pileggi is returning as Walter Skinner in the X-Files reboot.
Are you browsing Google while we're talking about Star Wars?
No, Facebook.
Oh,
Alright.
God, thanks for
No,
that.
I've kind of got a double window open. It just popped up. But that's relevant for the time.
For the time.
Star
what,
Wars
good news.
Trilogy Arcade, that was good.
How do we get from Teräs Käsi to Star Wars Trilogy Arcade?
Because it came out like a year later.
I thought we were going to go on about how awful Teräs Käsi. Saying that, I think it'd just be like a half-hour circle jerk of us going, "It were fucking rubbish."
It really was. It was basically that Street Fighter EX, was it?
EX Alpha or whatever it's called. Yeah.
Yeah. It was basically that, but with lightsabers that hit people like baseball bats.
Yep.
It should have been amazing. In all fairness, it should have been.
Again, it comes to the Superman thing of video games, in that you put Darth Vader in a game, he'll just choke somebody to fucking death. It's like, oh, you do like quarter circle forwards and heavy punch, and it's just force choke, and that's
Did
it.
you do that in Soul Calibur?
Was Darth Vader in Soul? Yoda was in Soul Calibur.
He was in
wasn't
Soul
Darth
Calibur
Vader was
on
one,
the
Soul- yeah.
PS3.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was another stupid bit of licensing.
Yep.
Yeah, both consoles got both characters in the end, apparently, on DLC.
Yeah, of course they did. It's fucking Bamco, isn't it? Or is it Tecmo? Who did Soul Calibur?
Namco.
Yeah, who knows?
It was Namco.
It was Namco. One of the
Before
Japanese
they were-
companies, Nickel and Diamond Jack and the Japanese companies.
Yes.
But no, the arcade. I mean, the 32 was one of the things on one of the very few things on the 32X that was worth playing.
That was Star Wars Arcade, not Star Wars Trilogy Arcade.
Oh God, bite me! Do you see? You've done a massive chronological leap now. A huge
no.
chronological leap.
No, that was actually a year after it. I just missed the 32X at the start.
So what was the difference between the trilogy and the normal then, apart from the one just having fucking space?
The Trilogy one was the one with the joystick where you did lightsabering fights and things.
Oh right, yeah. No, I remember that. Yeah. Never played that.
Which was
There was a large chunk of the arcades, like I mean, obviously this might be a bit later down the line. The Pod Racer arcade.
not much. Yeah, it's coming up next on the list, really.
Are we going to tie that into the N64 one?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Because you've missed that one.
Racer is
No,
the best
no,
Star
I kinda
Wars
missed-
game ever.
I kind of miss consoles, really. I kind of just stuck to the PC one.
Yeah, you've missed Super Star Wars, Super
I
Empire
missed
Strikes
it.
Back, and Super Return of the Jedi for a start.
One thing about those, which was really strange, they were basically exclusive to the SNES and the Game Gear.
They were on the Game Gear.
Yeah, they were.
Were they on the Game Gear in Brazil? Because that's usually what
No.
happens. They usually
No,
kind
they
of
were on the Game Gear in like real countries like Britain.
like real country, not these Mickey Mouse fake countries like Brazil.
Apologies to any Brazilian viewers.
We have a few Ecuadorians that
Oh,
watch
right.
us and view our
Oh,
site.
they'll love us taking the mick out of Brazil. Ecuador, real country. Britain, real country. Brazil. Oh no.
Seriously though, Ecuador come about 8th on our list of most readers and viewers from geolocation and stuff like that.
No idea why.
Ecuador.
Yeah.
I know that song by Sash. That's.
Yep, you see, now you're showing your really strange pop techno roots because I've got no idea what you're talking about. You see, if you skipped over some awesome dreck, there's some awesome awfulness, like Phantom Menace on PS1. The Phantom Menace game, me and my mate caught that because he's not a big gamer, and you know, he just kind of had a PS1 so he could play Tony Hawk's and all that kind of stuff. And he's a big Star Wars fan, so he bought Phantom Menace, and it was fucking awful. It was terrible.
It was one of the worst ones, yeah.
Yep, it's absolutely...
Which is saying something, because once we get to about 2002, there's a decade of shit there.
This is the thing. When I was researching the Star Wars games, in a minute, you can put your hand down. I'll get back to you in a minute, Bradley. When I was researching the Star Wars games, I noticed two things. One, that I hadn't really played many of them to any kind of, you know, beyond about 4 or 5 hours, and definitely, like most of them, not to completion. And two, there is some fucking awful Star Wars games. Like, not just awful in the brand of Star Wars, awful in video games ever. There's some...
Yeah, there's some solid 2 out of 10s going on.
Is that an Edge 2 or a normal 2?
Oh, that's an Andrew 2, which is about 6 times harsher than Edge.
I played Star Wars Episode 1 on the PlayStation to completion.
Oh, Jesus, God in heaven. Is that why you didn't play any more Star Wars games ever?
I played it religiously for about 7-8 weeks on a Sunday morning between 8 AM and 10 PM when I got down to the video shop early just to play the PlayStation we had set up.
Right, I thought it was going to be penance for being caught masturbating or something like that.
No, they didn't care about that in the shop.
What, at the video shop?
But the one time they caught you playing Star Wars, the Phantom.
That was so embarrassing. That was so embarrassing.
I'm sorry, I'm actually having a wank.
It was one of those moments.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was awful.
Star Wars Jedi Power Battles was a solid 4 or 5 out of 10, which was a good 3 or 4 points up from...
It's astonishing. It's astonishing how much you'd... I mean, like, so when was this? This was like in 97, wasn't it? Thereabouts. Yeah. No, when did episode 1 came?
No, 99.
99. Right, it's about 99. Yeah. So it was 16 years ago. And so it's amazing how much shit you'd put up with. I mean, I thought I stopped putting up with bollocks games when I got out of the Spectrum era. But obviously, that's not true because I still played some right fucking dreck up until the point of the year 2000.
I definitely completed Jedi Power Battle.
Oh, Christ. There's no hope for either on you.
It was basically Phantom Menace, but with patches applied. That was basically what Power Battles was.
Well, they kind of... I don't know if... I think they did a Clones game. I don't know if they did a... they did a third game. No, they did all 3 games, and they were all fucking terrible. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, well, we're marching into 2000 yet? Have we got something else?
Oh, we've got little things kicking around. We've got Star Wars Yoda Stories, which they released as a competitor to
Right, back in a sec, guys.
Solitaire.
To what?
As a competitor to Solitaire and Minesweeper. It was a game you were meant to install and leave on your desktop to play just every now and again, which was basically you were a little super cute Luke Skywalker who visited Dagobah, and then you talked to Yoda and he gave you a mission that was completely randomized, and then you went to the place like Hoth or Tatooine or Endor,
right.
And then it was kind of like a cross between Zelda and a point-and-click adventure with really bad combat, where you walked into randomized locations and you had to get an object to give to a person that could open a thing, that could do a thing, and then eventually about an hour later, you'd finish a mission.
Oh, dear God. I feel like I'm getting a tumour just from you describing it. Fucking hell.
It was... not great. In all honesty, not great.
Our microwave glowed orange and then nearly exploded.
Oh, good.
But I'm back. That's fine.
Who put metal in the microwave?
No one. It was a plate.
Was the plate orange?
No.
Right.
It just started glowing orange. Like, I don't know, like someone had put uranium in it or something.
What? In the radioactive fucking electrical appliance?
Yeah. We never, because we don't have any uranium.
So, the
Allegedly.
Yeah, that was a cracker. In
No,
my
it was
head,
bollocks. It sounded awful. It sounded like being punched in the face repeatedly.
yeah, you would hate that. I can really imagine you hating that. It was alright. It didn't have anything specifically wrong with it. It just didn't really have anything specifically right with it either. But in my head, there was definitely a reason that you were meant to play that. It had something canonish in it. But I've looked on the internet this evening. I can't find any evidence of that whatsoever.
Basically, you played it through a very false, misguided sense of canon, and now you hate yourself for it.
Yes, give or take. That's what I
Come on, let's get to the shit.
Yeah.
Have we done pod racing yet?
Oh no, that's
No, we
the
haven't
arcade,
done
weren't
pod
we?
racing yet. We got to do that. Yeah.
We've got to talk about it because it's the only thing Brad's got any reference for.
And it's the only we've got to finish on a high.
Well, you haven't finished. There's 15 minutes left yet. We've got loads to go yet.
No, I mean, but when we get there, we've got to finish on a high.
We've got a decade to go yet. We've got some good stuff in the future.
Well, the thing is, it took.
We've got one good stuff in the future.
Well, I don't know. I've got a couple. I've got a couple.
Yeah. Well, we might as well do episode 1 Racer whilst we're here to give it its actual shit title.
Episode 1 Racer. Fucking.
Why am I racing episode 1s?
See, the thing is, everyone just knew it as that bloody awesome Star Wars racer in the arcade. That's pretty much what it got known as. That was just amazing.
I have vague recollection of borrowing an N64 off a friend and caning the living shit out of Pod Racer. And then when I went to uni, I got a not entirely legitimate copy for my PC that came in like 10 zip files because we couldn't fit it on the fucking... There was no such thing as a USB drive or anything like that.
Zip disk. Please tell it was a zip disk.
It might have been. I found my zip disks about... In fact, when we moved last year, I found my zip disks and I had to throw them away because, obviously, one, they'll be corrupt because they're useless, and two, I didn't...
that was a selling point on the box. This disc will get corrupt.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, no, I mean, basically, they just upscaled the muddy N64 textures into something a bit sharper on the PC and flattened out the frame rate, but it was still the same game.
I'm fairly sure I had it on the Dreamcast.
Yeah.
You what, Andrew?
Yeah, it came out.
Yeah.
It was quite a good, fun game, really.
It was. I enjoyed it. I just kind of... I just know that if I went back to it now, I'd find it really hollow.
As far as Wipeout clones go, it's one of the better ones.
Well, the thing is...
That's not really saying much, though, is it?
No, there's some... That's a genre of awful games.
Racer, the game, Pod Race, whatever you want to call it, was the best Star Wars game to come out of the Phantom Menace.
That is also not saying much, to be perfectly honest.
And that segment in the film, and that segment in the film was the best part of the film. Just saying.
Well,
how can you say that when there's a lightsaber fight that's got the best lightsaber fight of anything ever?
Yeah,
I really like racing things.
I don't think that
really
the
like
new
racism,
Star Wars films can improve on that lightsaber fight.
This is why they've given the new one like a cross hilt. One, to send Star Wars fanboys into an apoplexy about how there has to be 3 gems in the fucking hilt and how, why does he need it? Are you going to get his fingers cut? Oh, yeah, fucking brilliant. That was awesome. When the first trailer came out and he went, oh, he's got a cross. Why has he got a cross guard? Because it looks fucking cool. That's why. So that was great.
I can't wait to see what future shapes they come up with.
Future shapes like a hoop. I was watching. I was
They're going to have the Tron frisbees.
fucking. Well, you see, they've already had ludicrous lightsabers because Ventress has got curved fucking handles, which doesn't make any sense, and Dooku's handles curved as well, and it's like what?
Who's that guy with the whips in the Iron Man films?
Whiplash.
Yeah.
That was his name.
Yeah, good point. They could have those as lightsabers.
There probably is a
Somewhere.
fucking lightsaber whip somewhere in the
I'm
extended
expecting
universe.
a mace. I'm expecting a mace.
Yeah, that'd be
Like
cool.
a lightsaber whip, which is something that they have to give to Harrison Ford to use. Doing a gun,
Not
doing
Indiana
a
Jones. That'd be brilliant. That'd be awesome. But yeah, no, we were on about something else aside from lightsabers.
Yeah, episode 1 was not that bad as a film.
Fuck off!
We've missed a classic PC game.
What? Oh,
Rebel Assault.
Oh, the
Rebel
FMV
Assault.
one. Also on the Mega CD.
Yeah. Also on the Mega CD. Oh, that was. I was watching a video of that just now. It's not actually aged as badly as you'd think.
Fuck off. Fuck off. There's no way in this wide world that it hasn't aged as badly as Sewer Shark and Night Trap and fucking. Oh, God.
I don't think it looks alright-ish. In a kind of a retro gamey kind of way.
Screen's this big. It's this big.
Yeah.
Don't forget, Andrew still lives in 1993.
I had a CD-ROM. It was, yeah, and that was a weird game.
It was pointless.
But apparently one of the most successful ones.
That doesn't surprise me. It was new tech, wasn't it? It was something new and shiny and big and oh my fucking god! It's like playing the film, except playing the film on a postage stamp. It was terrible.
And all oddly out of focus as well. It was like you were playing a graphically perfect version of the film, except you got the wrong glasses on. So anything that was more than half a foot in front of you was completely out of focus.
Except like most like N64 games, somebody had smeared Vaseline all over the TV.
Yeah, it's just someone's put the Vaseline on the screen and you go, oh well, let's carry on.
Games we may have missed. The one I played briefly until it wasn't what I thought it was Knights of the Old Republic.
We haven't got there yet, have we?
We're like a decade off that.
Oh wait,
2006, 7.
Oh fuck that then. Go on, carry on.
Oh god, sorry, are we boring you? I do apologise.
That's the only other bit of relevance I've got.
Go on, Andrew, I'm listening to you.
Star Wars Demolition. Oh, that was an all-time low for video
PS2 era. The PS2 era of Star Wars games is the absolute detritus, bottom of the barrel, sludge, awfulness. The sediment at the bottom, it's just terrible. There was Demolition.
Starfighter was okay.
Shut up. Starfighter was awful. Super Bombard Racing was awful. Bounty Hunter was mediocre.
That was worse than mediocre, to be honest.
Alright, it was terrible.
I think you're being generous there.
I am being generous.
Starfighter was better than Bounty Hunter.
Oh, it's just they're all born from fucking episode 1, 2, and 3. It's like vomit.
One of that little era that I quite enjoyed and have actually played again recently is Star Wars Republic Commando, which was actually quite good. The FPS squad management type thing.
Yeah, it's Ghost Recon with fucking clone troopers, wasn't it?
Basically, yeah. It got too many. Oh, we've got to get this door open. Defenders sections.
Oh, waves. So actually, nothing's changed in the last 14 years.
But that was actually quite good, and it made it feel quite cool. And you got Clone Man voice and things. That was enjoyable. I think I'd still recommend that. It looks quite nice as well, really.
Is that on PC?
Yeah. That's one of very few I could say people could.
The thing is, you're best off skipping right forward to the Xbox, an exclusive, but obviously on PC as well. That Brad was just talking about.
Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic. Apparently 2003.
Was it?
That was brilliant.
Yeah.
According to the wiki facts, that was absolutely brilliant. That was as good as, so much better than Mass Effect as well. Fuck Mass Effect.
Hey, oh, steady on.
It's got lightsabers and a button where you could just spin the lightsabers for no reason. That's the kind of button I want in my video games. Oh, it's a long way to walk to the other end of this level. Woo, spinning lightsaber.
The problem I had with Knights of the Old Republic was all my fault.
Oh, right. I thought you were going to say something else then. Go on.
No. It was the days before you got decent opinion from people on what was happening. You could find out from forums what sort of game it was. I picked it up with my Xbox, and I thought it was going to be go through murdering the bejesus out of people, and it was going to be really action orientated and absolutely mental. And I was like, oh, I might like this. And then I got menus and menus and menus. And it really put me off at the time because I was young and hip and going out places.
You were hip?
No.
I
pretended to be.
I absolutely love Old Republic. Absolutely.
I think it does. From what people say, apparently it holds up quite well.
Is it on good old games?
It's BioWare, is it? Yeah, it's on good old games, and it's on Steam. Oh, it was on Steam. I don't know if they put it back.
I offered you a copy of it earlier. Just the Steam code. Yes.
When?
Would you like a Steam code copy of Knights of the Old Republic 1?
Oh, yes, I would, please, Andrew. Thank you very much, kind sir.
Later, then.
I must have missed that bit. I might have been working at the time.
I'm glad you were paying attention. But no, Knights of the Republic I didn't play because it was. I wasn't into RPGs much. But it's one of them games I kind of want to go back to, but I don't think I'll ever find the time to commit to it.
I'm not sure how much I want to play it again, but it's one of those games that I like to have on Steam. So if I need to play it again, I know it's there. It's quite comforting. A lot of my Steam library is there for comfort.
It's like there is reassurance that there is some good in your past, and it wasn't all for naught. Looking at yourself in the mirror every morning, crying into the sink. Is that just me?
It was a brilliantly written game, though. There's so
Apparently
much of
so,
it.
yeah. I mean, you know, and KOTOR 2 suffered from lots of. Well, KOTOR 2 suffered from being an Obsidian game. So.
Jesus.
Yeah. Apparently, it's finished now.
Oh right, okay, that's nice.
Yeah, apparently the fans have finished it off and put in a whole other planet and things.
What's the estimation, Bradley?
There's lots of Star Wars games out on the Steam at the moment.
Really?
Yeah, they're just really.
We've not noticed in the research we did leading up to this fucking episode.
I told you I'm doing research. I didn't just say when.
I think that probably Knights of the Old Republic was maybe the second best. Not sure. It's very close. Either the second best or first best thing that has happened to Star Wars since 1983
and
which,
what? Do I need to ask?
The other one that's either that or that is the I can't remember the bloke's name. The 2D Clone Wars TV cartoon show.
Oh,
which
Jenny
was amazing. Yes.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
The guy is fantastic at what he does, but he just gets drilled into the ground by the suits because they don't do the numbers they think they're going to do. So, it's a shame.
Anyone who hasn't watched that, go out and watch it. You can even just watch it as an actual film of just. It's about 2.5 hours for both series, I think.
Yeah.
It's just got some of the best Jediing ever.
The choreography.
Everything that you see.
Yeah.
Everything that you see in those cartoons is exactly the Clone Wars that you imagined could happen in the films that didn't.
Yeah. It's the choreography is absolutely fantastic in it, and it follows on the story quite nicely. So.
The episode where Mace takes down that ground pounding thing and.
There's barely any dialogue in it as well. It's brilliant. It's just all action. There's just shit happening all over the place. It's
Yeah, it's pretty much silent. It's
Yeah.
Everybody watch that. It's the best
Yeah.
thing ever.
If you haven't, then more fool you.
Anyone who's watched the Star Wars prequels and hasn't watched those is just wrong.
Yep. Very wrong. So where are we? We've done Old Republic. We've done Knights of the Old Republic.
I suppose we ought to do, since you've just mentioned it by name by accident, the Old Republic.
The Old Republic. I played. Me and Paula played that quite a bit, and it was fine. And that's as far as it went. I haven't been back since it went free to play because why would you? Did you play much?
No, I tried to. I bought the Super Special Edition with a box.
Christ.
Which was quite a good statue. And I tried to play it, but it just no. And then the other day, I sold that and made a profit.
Oh, nice!
Massive result there.
Yeah, it was. I've actually got. I never played it, but I've got a Star Wars Galaxy limited edition box set that's got like a pin badge and some artwork and stuff like that in it.
Cool.
Yeah.
I like Star
Useless
Wars
shit. Useless shit.
Yeah, it was. It was just. I so much wanted to play it because of
being a Jedi.
How much I liked Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah.
It was. I genuinely thought you can give me all that MMO bullshit of killing 5 Kraken of whatever and bring it back.
Kill a Rancor. Yeah, go on.
Just bring back their feet to that man, and then that man will tell you to go into the same place and bring back their other feet or something. I genuinely thought that I liked Knights of the Old Republic enough to do that, and it turns out I didn't.
This is the thing. They tried to crowbar something like that into basically the WoW template, and it doesn't work. As pretty much every MMO that's tried to do that since, it doesn't work. And so, yeah, it was. I think we played the first month like most MMOs. We played the first month and then went, I ain't paying for this. I can't be fucked with it. So it's a shame. It's a shame. Apparently it's quite. Sorry, go on.
I have heard that from May the 4th, randomly selected date,
obviously,
they're giving so much XP that you don't have to do the bollocksy fetch quests. You can just do the story things and you get enough to progress, which sounds quite good. So I might actually try and play it again. Maybe.
Because you've got time to do that.
Yes. Emphatically many times. I'll just stop playing Yoda stories for a bit, That'll give me back a good 3 to 4 hours a day. Oh, I'll tell you another one that we've missed from Phantom Menace era, and I would go as far as saying this was almost as good as Episode 1 Racer.
Yeah.
Star Wars Pit Droids, which was a sort of learning game, but was actually a puzzle game that was a little bit like Choo Choo Rocket.
Really?
And was quite good.
No. The thing is, you said Episode 1's good, so you get fucking no pass at all.
I did warn people at the start this was like a Brad Vita episode. Yeah, it was quite good. And I found out whilst doing research to this that they released it on the App Store as well, so I'm going to play that at some point.
Oh,
I think it might well hold up.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, it was quite good. Basically, you got to colour in pit droids so they could go into pit droid exits or something.
I thought you were going to say pit droid heaven then.
Let's say that's where they're going. Why not? But yeah, it was. You put down arrows on the floor and they walk around and.
Oh, so it basically is Choo Choo Rocket, yeah.
Yeah, it's very similar.
So
which was
the moral of this entire episode is that Choo Choo Rocket would be great on the Vita.
You've got Pix the Cat and its rubbish extra modes.
Shut up.
They were rubbish. What else have we got?
I have no idea. You got the
research.
Yeah, and made notes on it.
Made notes and he printed it off. I'm impressed.
I am.
I suppose there's that little franchise of games that had pretty much no entries in it at all, but then they found one or two other things that they could do as well, and so they sort of... Lego!
Hey! The Lego Star Wars games are actually probably the worst of the Lego games.
Yeah.
Because they came first, and so they are the worst kind of grindy bollocks.
With that handcuffing you had between co-op players, that if one even went slightly too far, you don't matter what you was doing, you started getting dragged away.
Yeah, you were. Yeah, there was the magnet bond, and you know, you to get all the studs. It's painful. I enjoyed it at the time, but I went back to it, I don't know, about 18 months ago, and I'm like, holy shit, that's really bad.
But it never really recovered from that as a series as a whole, because I played the Clone Wars and the second trilogy that they released as well, that had all the split screen stuff in it and everything. But again, it just didn't feel right. This was, you know, still for me, the best Lego games, or the best absolute Lego game, was that Indiana Jones 2. That is still the standout Lego game to me.
See, I prefer Pirates of the Caribbean.
I enjoyed it, but still Lego for me. Lego, Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like my Star Wars, I preferred Indiana Jones. Yeah.
Yeah, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, that's good. Anyway.
Not that one, I've never seen that one.
Oh, Jesus.
Doesn't count.
It's pretty bad.
No!
It's awful.
Don't you dare.
What?
I'll let you lie about Star Wars. Do not say anything good about Crystal Skull.
You've never seen it, so you don't get to say anything about it.
I know enough people that have seen it.
Oh, hearsay, Your Honour. Fucking objection.
It almost felt like it was going to be good. It was one of those films where it was never quite bad enough whilst you were watching it to think, oh my god, this is really bad. And it always had a kind of hope that the next bit it'll get better, but it actually got progressively worse throughout the film until you got to the end, which was really, really bad.
Right, this is it. The last half an hour ruins the film. The fucking swinging through the trees is really bad, right? I can forgive almost anything else. I enjoyed almost everything else. But the swinging through the trees, get out. Also seeing as Sheila Booth was in the middle of a fucking midlife crisis and on a breakdown, that explains a lot. And then the ending, which is just complete bullshit. And it's like... And from what I've read about it in interviews and reading between the lines and stuff like that, do you know why that film's shit? I'll give you 3 fucking guesses why that film's shit. Go on.
George Lucas.
Yeah, well done, Brad. You don't need second two. Fucking yes. Him was sticking his fucking oar in.
What I'm interested about this Star Wars actually, and it all revolves around Harrison Ford. Is the last few films I've seen Harrison Ford in, he comes across as to someone who's just got enough money for other ventures that he just really doesn't have to do any work whatsoever, but fuck it, they've wanted him, he turns up.
Other ventures?
Yeah.
I think he made most of his money
Solo.
being in films.
Han Solo and Indiana Jones. He's earned enough through all that, right? So
I
other
bet
films
he
he's done
made more
recently.
money doing things like Air Force One and Fugitive than he did from
shut
Star
up, right?
Wars
But
and
listen,
Indiana Jones.
right, but all that era, that was all from back then. The last few years I'm on about, where he's done another Indiana Jones and he's done a couple of other weird sci-fi films and other crap like that. And you just tell he's phoning it in because they've asked him to do it, they're going to pay him a shit ton of money, and he's like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Is he going to go back to the Harrison Ford that wanted to do these films when he done the original Star Wars? Was he potentially enjoying being an actor, or is he still just going to be Harrison Ford?
To be fair, he never enjoyed being an actor.
No.
He enjoyed being a carpenter, and then they forced him into Star Wars films.
I've been held at gunpoint.
No, they offered him a shitload of money.
Yeah.
He was fixing the door at LucasArts. That was how he ended up in Star Wars. They were like, why don't you... He'd been in something before, and they were like, why don't you audition? And he was like,
because I'm fixing this door. Fuck off. I've got my plane, I've got my screws, I'm fixing the door, piss off.
We could give you a spaceship.
I'm going to say, as far as I'm aware, Harrison Ford's always taken the Liam Neeson approach to work, as in it's work. Because whenever you see Liam Neeson in interviews, he doesn't fucking care. He doesn't give a monkeys. He's just there to earn his money, and that's it.
Yeah, to be fair, Harrison Ford, his interviews are brilliant because you see he just sits there and he's like, yeah, whatever.
I think he's like, okay.
What's the next question?
Yeah, he's like, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. That's just fine.
You can write this shit, but you can't say
it. You're fired. No, I'm not.
But yeah, I think we're pretty much back up to the modern day now. So we've got that cool Star Wars battle pod. I bet that's just Rebel Assault 3, really. It looks cool.
I don't even know where I'd find something like that around here.
I don't think there's any in Europe yet.
Isn't it? No, right.
I don't think so.
I just want another decent space shooter because they're fun.
You want Elite Dangerous then?
Yeah, I know, but it's 40 quid.
Yep.
And it's one of those I feel I've got to put a crap ton of time into to learn and...
Yep.
Yeah, I just want someone where it goes... I basically want a new Star Fox.
Well,
with Star Wars.
Well, you've only got to wait till E3 to find out what that's going to be like. No,
I think they might just say, and it's available now for that. I think that'd be quite nice.
2016.
It won't be. Zelda's gone to 2016. They've got no else at end of the year.
Yeah,
it's got to come out this year. It's got to come out this year. And they were basically saying, in a kind of a read between the lines way, it was going to be the first half of this year, and then it was going to... Zelda was second half of this year, and that's all your games, apart from those funny little ones.
But they've got video evidence of them two talking to each other for a promotion going, and Zelda, when's it going to be done? Oh, it's definitely this year. It's definitely 2015. And it's, we're complete... it's delayed.
I don't mind Zelda's being delayed.
No, I don't. It needs to be... That's a game that needs to be done right, not rushed. Of any game there is, Zelda has to be done right. Because there's a certain expectation on that as a game.
Yeah, I expect it to be, you just get a boomerang and then you get bored.
Ooh.
Oh, shut up. You don't get any fucking recourse. I mean, what was the latest Star Wars game that was released then?
Well, that battle pod, if you count it, is officially out.
Squadrons? No, that was cancelled. First Assault, that was cancelled. 1313, that was cancelled.
Well, it's because they just closed down the studio. That was what happened.
Well, because Lucas sold him off, didn't it? That's why they all shut down. Because Lucas, and to be fair to him, sold off Lucasfilm and Star Wars and everything, and gave all the money to education in homes, didn't he? So fair play.
The last major game on a major console was Star Wars Connect.
Bit of a death now, really, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean,
it's not.
There's all the pinball tables.
Really. Not really, no.
Pinball tables.
Yeah, pinball tables. That's what we all dreamed of. We watched those films and we were like, "Fuck yes, this could be a pinball table one day."
To be fair, the Zen pinball tables are actually pretty good. So shut up.
Yeah, I enjoyed them for what they were.
They're actually better games than a lot of the fucking detritus that's in that list. Jesus.
Yeah, I would say it's the best ever series of video games until it becomes the worst ever series of video games.
So what you're saying is it's the most mediocre. By finding the middle ground, it's the most mediocre series of video games licensed.
If they'd just been average throughout, then it would have been okay. Or if they'd have done it in the other order. I mean, everything that came out before the 90s was... pretty good. Star Wars arcade, original machine.
What about Empire Strikes Back on the Atari 2600?
I believe that wasn't licensed.
What?
There was something weird about it, wasn't there? It was.
I don't know. I only played it. I didn't even know what it was until because the label had fallen off the cartridge I've got for my put it in. I'm like, oh, it's fucking AT-AT. Ooh, that's great.
Yeah, there was something strange about it. I don't know, some retro person will have to fill this in, but there was definitely something about it that was just
a bit ropey.
It was either a different game that they changed,
reappropriated,
or it was the other way around, maybe.
Obviously, though, one game we are missing that will be coming out at some point this year, probably around Christmas time, will be the Disney Infinity 3.0 Star Wars
Now,
playsets.
this is interesting because the proper Disney line, not the Star Wars line, has been leaked by a Chinese retailer. And it's got Mickey, Minnie, some of the characters from Inside Out, and some other bits I forget. And so that's been leaked. The boxes are purple, so people are tying it to that. But it can't not be Star Wars. Double negatives. But it's got to be Star Wars because that's where the license is going.
Unless... It depends how they do it. I wonder if they'll release a new, like a standalone disc thing, but with compatible, with the characters being compatible for Star Wars release of the game and also Disney Infinity 3.0 or something.
Nah, they'll not
like
do
that.
two. They'll not do two different ones. They'll just do one. They'll do the Star, like the Avengers one, the Marvel one. They'll do the starter pack with the base unit, and then they'll do all the extra toy box stuff after.
There's a crap ton of stuff they could sell off on Star Wars Disney Infinity.
I'm terrified that I'm going to end up buying these because the figures for the Disney Infinity stuff are generally pretty damn good. I've managed to avoid it entirely.
I've got a few. The second wave, the Marvel stuff, was designed. Well, sorry, not entirely designed, but the guy who did the prototype concepting is a guy called Sean Galloway, who's done comics, and he worked on Teen Titans and stuff like that, I think, or Young Justice, I forget. He was, I follow him on Twitter, and he was banding the sketches around. He's like, and this is the concepts I did for Disney Infinity. Oh, these are fucking great, and that's why they all look really chunky and nice. And if they get him back to do the Star Wars stuff, then I will definitely be ending up paying fucking money for it because it's they are
I didn't know
lovely.
it was him, but yeah, the Disney Avengers stuff is just. I really want to see it cheap somewhere so I can just buy a bucket load of them without having to go through the hassle of. But even if I never see them cheap, I am going to end up owning a Groot and a Rocket.
If you keep checking Crime Generator, because I picked up an Iron Man for a $5, which you can only get in the base set for a friend. He was looking for an Iron Man because he loves Iron Man. It's like, it's Iron Man for a $5. So yeah.
That's not bad.
See, but that's the best thing about them. You don't even need the game for those bloody things because they just look damn good on the shelf.
Yeah, I mean, I've got Venom, Baymax, Jack Skellington, Rapunzel, Elsa, Wreck-It Ralph, and somebody else that I can't see at the moment.
See, we've mainly got a bunch of the Guardians of the Galaxy ones.
Yeah.
Although we haven't got Star-Lord and
Gamora, because they're in
Gamora,
the set.
Yeah, we've got to get that at some point, but I refuse to pay 22 quid for it.
I've seen it for 16, stop being tight. But yes, so Hardline, not Hardline, that's the other Battlefield. Battlefront, Star Wars Battlefront that's Star Wars. To bring it full circle. It's going to be interesting to see what it turns out like, because they've pulled a massive, weird move by showing in-engine footage and not showing anything of the game, and then releasing some details that it's going to be a 40-player multiplayer, like 40-person multiplayer only game with no single-player campaign, but with single-player. So it's, I mean, some people say it sounds a bit like Destiny in that it's always MMO, but it's got single-player missions, but that doesn't sound like it to me. So for all my ranting and raving about it, I'm interested to see where it goes, but I can't help but be disappointed that it's.
Does it? Some of the description I heard makes me feel maybe it's a bit like the career mode in Titanfall.
I sincerely hope not, because that's awful.
What, Titanfall or the career mode?
No. Titanfall's amazing. Titanfall's fantastic. But the fact that there was, I mean, the big problem they had is with Titanfall is they did the training missions, and then people were doing the mid-training missions, so you couldn't unlock the other two chassis, so they had to give them at levels in the multiplayer. So it's just, I don't know. I mean, this thing where companies seem to be intent on making their games multiplayer only is only going to come back to bite them in the arse, because there's enough people out there that fucking hate that shit. They don't want to play multiplayer games. They want to play single-player games.
But at the same time, do you know what? I don't miss not having a single-player game in Titanfall.
What? You don't miss it?
I don't.
I haven't got it going, do you know what this game really needs? It needs a single-player mode. It doesn't bother me one little bit. That might be something to do with the fact I got the game for a £5 and got all the DLC for nothing. But
you see, I paid like 25 quid for that, and I still got my money's worth out, and it was great. So,
there's room for those games, but
I would like them to do another proper, serious single-player Star Wars game now that they're doing spin-off things that, you know, all the spin-off movies as well. I think they could do a spin-off game that actually is treated like a spin-off movie.
Given what we know about Rogue One, I think
13.
Yeah, I think given what we know about Rogue One, I think we'll see a Rogue One game. So.
See, was that 1313? I mean, all I know about it was lots of people went mental over it and it got cancelled. Was it actually looking good from what people saw?
It looked like Star Wars Uncharted, basically. Which, it's not a bad pitch, really.
As elevator pitches go now, it's not bad at all.
It's like Uncharted, but it's Star Wars. Alright. We'll do that.
Yeah, we'll have that. But no, obviously, it was going far too wrong. So yeah.
Considering some of the crap they released, that must have been going completely wrong direction.
Yeah, it was. I'm sure it was politics rather than the game.
I've now gone. We can't release this. It's actually a bit good.
But you've got to think that they've got it kicking around somewhere in the back if it was good enough. They clearly own the rights to it and stuff, so it might reappear at some point called something else. I wouldn't be massively surprised by that. But yeah, it would be nice for them to treat a single-player game as worthwhile, because that's one of the strange things about the Avengers, Marvel stuff. There haven't been any games, or at least there's been those shit Sega ones and nothing else. Which
and that's why there has been nothing else.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just a license ownership thing, but you'd think that they'd want to do games as well as making films, just in the way that LucasArts made good games as well as films. It just seems the same coherent strategy type thing. But, you know.
Yeah. Right. We're going to look at maybe calling this now because we've
we've gone way over.
One of those episodes where Andrew explains things.
Yeah. But that's the end of our first point. Obviously, the point I wanted to move on next was Hotline Miami ripoffs. No, we'll do that next week.
I'm going to say please.
We'll do that next week. But if anyone does get the chance, then please do check out. Don't buy it. Don't give them your money. But please check out. I can't remember what it's called. This is
So
Kavkas. Oh, I told Steve about it.
Yeah, I forgot. I'm sorry.
So pro, Steve.
I know. Hey, don't
That's
fucking
it. Bloodbath
Printout.
Kavkas. Bloodbath Kavkas. Check that out, and then we'll discuss it next week.
Cool.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
Yeah, what's that? Yeah. It is Hotline Miami. Yes, if it's us, I'll say check it out now before it disappears.
Can it be any worse than Hotline Miami 2? And on that note...
Oh. Wait, no, hang on. So we might be able to go for a vault, and on that bombshell.
No.
That was my top gear. Is that still relevant nowadays?
No.
Is that done and dusted now?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
That's a cartridgeism anyway.
Right. This week, coming up on the show, website, we have stuff. We have a couple of reviews coming up. There's a couple of articles. I've got Brad Bull, which has apparently gone down quite well with the few viewers I've had for it, so I'll be continuing that. Couple of Let's Plays that I've got to get done because I've been promising to do them for about 3 weeks now, so I will get those sorted. And yeah, just whatever gets submitted.
All kinds of good stuff.
As usual.
Good stuff, yes.
Yes, we organise stuff at the weekend, so that's why we never generally know what's coming. That's what I will tell you all anyway.
Also, we drink quite a lot.
I don't. That's the thing. I'm just crap. I'm living on what I'm seeing. The problem is I was up till about 3:30 this morning watching ice hockey, and I got up and I haven't been back to bed
And
since or
that
anything like
is
that.
your own bloody stupid fault.
It is, but I'm tired, hence the beard as well. It's my playoff beard.
Anyway, we have to run.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go to bed.
Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.